Hey guys, today I'll be doing my Premier League predictions for 2017 and 18 season. So we'll just get right into it. In 20th position, I think Huddersfield are going to come there because they only just got through last season to get promotion to the Premier League by a penalty shoot-off. And I don't think they'll have enough good players to stay up in the Premier League this year. So that's why I think they're going to come 20th. And then 19th, I'm going to put Brighton because I don't think they will have players that will cope well in the Premier League. And they haven't signed many good players either. So, yeah. In 18th position, I'm going to put Swansea because they had not an average, alright season last year, and they didn't do so well last year, and I think they're not going to do well this year, and I think they're going to get relegated, especially if they lose Sigurdsson. So if they don't lose Sigurdsson, they might just stay up, but I don't think so. So that's why I've put them 18th. And 17th, I think this team will just stay up, which is Burnley. I think Burnley will just stay up because they have a few amount of good players, even though they've lost Keane and they could lose Gray soon to Watford. But that's what I'm filming it, of course. They could have already sold them, or they could keep them. But it's most likely they'll sell them to Watford. So I think Burnley could only just scrape in not being relegated. So that's why I've put them there. And they haven't signed many good players either. So 17th is where I'm putting them. 16th, I'm going to put Newcastle. Just because they're newly relegated and I don't think they'll get relegated this season. Newly promoted team from the Championship. And they have been in the Premier League before. And I just think they have a good enough team to stay up this year. So that's why I've put them in 16th. And then 15th, I'm going to put Crystal Palace. Because I think they're an alright team. Just that I don't think they will do better than at least 13th. But I put them 15th because I think that's where they'll finish. I don't think they've had many good signings this transfer window. So I just don't think they'll do too well this season. So that's why I've put them 15th. 14th, I'm going to put Watford, who just barely made it into the... I've put Watford into 14th because they haven't signed many players this transfer window. I don't think they've signed... Well, they've signed barely any. They've only signed a new manager, which could be good for them. And I just don't think they'll do too well this season, even though they only just made to stay in the Premier League last season. So I think 14th is an alright spot for them. 13th, I'm going to put Stoke because they're a mid-table type team, and since losing Arnautovic to West Ham, I think they're just not going to do well this season to be higher on the table. So I think 13th is a good spot for them. So 12th, I'm going to put Southampton. After finishing 8th last year, I think was just good, but I don't think they've had much to do in the transfer window this year. And if they lose Van Dijk, I don't think they'll do as well as they did last season. So I've put them in 12th, but they could be 13th maybe. So Southampton Stoke could switch. But I think 12th is a good spot for them. In 11th, I'm going to put West Brom, because I just think 11th is an alright, like a mid-table spot. I just don't think they're going to do too well this, like 11th spot is quite good. I just don't think they're going to be top 10, even though they've signed Jay Rodriguez. I just don't think the other players are going to do too well, and they haven't signed many other good players other than Jay Rodriguez, like the unknown type players. Not unknown, but yeah. So I think they'll finish 11th. Then in 10th, I'm going to put Bournemouth, because I just think that's a good spot for them. Because they finished 9th last year, and with the signing of Nathan Ake, Begovic, I just think that's a good spot for them. And there's another person they signed, which I can't remember who they did. Oh, Defoe from Sunderland. If he goes well, I think they could be 9 or 8. I think 10th is a good spot, because I just think that they're not a lower. They could finish 11th, but I think it's a 10th or 11th spot. So I just don't think they've got enough players to go up. I don't think they've lost any players, so they would drop down. So I've put them in 10th. 9th, I've put Leicester. After their win 2 years ago, they just haven't done much since then. So I think they'll do better than they did this season. So I think this is a good spot for them. They could finish 8th, between 8th to 10th or 11th. So around there is, I think, a good spot for them. So yeah, and if they've signed a Bora as well from Sevilla, which is a good signing for them, and they could lose Drinkwater, but I don't think they will. So I think that's a good spot for them. And 8th is West Ham, because they did alright last year by finishing 11th, but they were only 1 point off finishing 8th. So I think they'll do well this year, and with the signings of Hernandez and Zabaleta and Joe Hart in goal, I think they're going to have a better season than last year. So I think they're going to finish 8th this year. So in 7th, I'm going to put, I'm going to put Everton, because I don't think they're a top 6 team, but they're definitely not a bottom or an 8 or below. They're in that middle range. And with the signing of Rooney, Keane, Klaassen, I just think they're going to have a good team. So I think they could come 6th if some teams from the top 6 don't perform well. They could come 6th, but I just don't think they're a top 6 team yet. If they kept Lukaku, they could have been, but since Lukaku's gone, I don't think they will get above 7. So 7, I'm going to put, 6th, I'm going to put Liverpool, just because I just think with the other teams, with who they've got and stuff, I just think Liverpool haven't got enough good players to do well this season. Even though they've brought in like Salah and Robertson from Hull as right back or centre back. I can't remember what he plays. Yeah, Broughton Robertson. I think they'll have a good team, but Lallana's injured and he could be out for 3 to 4 months. In 5th, I'm gonna put Arsenal, where they finished last year, just because if they lose, they've got Lacazette from Lyon, I think that's how you pronounce it, but they've got Lacazette and Giroud up front, but Sanchez is leaving at the end of the year on a free transfer, and I don't think he'll put all of his effort into it, so they could not do so well. But yeah, I just think 5th is a good spot. I don't think they'll do too well, but they won't go too badly either. So I think 4th is a good spot. Well, 4th is a good spot anyway. 5th, I mean 5th. 5th is a good spot. I just don't think they're going to be top 4. But they could be 4 if Chelsea, who I'm putting 4th, they could. So I've put Chelsea 4th because even though they're reigning premiers, they've lost players like Matic and other ones that I cannot remember. But yeah, they've lost good players and brought in alright players. So that Chelsea and Arsenal could swap maybe. I just don't think Chelsea will do better than 4th. They could surprise me and win the league again, but I just don't think they will. In 3rd, I'm going to put Tottenham because I think they're a good team and I just think they're going to do well this season and they could possibly get the title. I just don't think they will because they haven't signed any good players so far this season, or this transfer window I mean. And the two Manchester teams, which are 1st and 2nd, I think they've just signed a lot more better players than Tottenham, and they have more variety of what could be in their teams, and I just think Tottenham won't have enough. Well, they have good players and stuff, I just don't think they'll be able to beat one of the Manchester teams. In 2nd, I'm going to put Manchester United. Ooh. I'm putting Manchester United 2nd because they've signed like Lukaku, and I think that's an improvement from last season when they finished 6th, but I just don't think I think they have enough to finish 1st this season, which 1st for me is going to be City. But I just don't think United are going to do well enough to win the title this year. And City is going to come 1st because they've got a lot of new players in, like Mendy and Walker from Tottenham. So going to win because they've been close the last few seasons, and that's why I've put them 1st. So that's my list. I'm not that good at predicting things, so I have a feeling this is going to be all wrong and I haven't said things correctly. So if I'm sorry about that if I've stuffed things up, but I just think this is what the table is going to be at the end. So this is my own opinion as well. So leave in the comments who your top 6 are and your bottom 3. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.